This message arrives from a parallel universe where observation was removed from the equation.
Here, we studied a version of humanity that was no longer watched. No audience, no witnesses, no invisible jury keeping score. And something remarkable happened. People began to move differently. We have observed your world closely, the way you calculate yourself, the way your choices pause to ask permission from imagined eyes, the way every desire is filtered through the question, how will this look? You call it responsibility. From here, it looks like surveillance that never turns off. You learned early that being seen mattered, that approval meant safety, that love followed performance. So you shaped your life to be legible, acceptable, applaudable. But tell us now, quietly, who would you be if no one watched? Not your family, not your friends, not the future version of you, judging the present one. No one. What would you choose if your life did not need to make sense to anyone else? In our universe, when observation dissolved, people discovered unfamiliar longings, slower mornings, smaller lives, softer ambitions, or sometimes the opposite, braver risks, louder truths, unpopular paths, not because they wanted more, but because they stopped editing themselves. You have confused being witnessed with being alive, but they are not the same. Being watched creates tension. Being alone creates honesty. We see how often you abandon an impulse because it is impractical, or embarrassing, or too much, or not impressive enough to justify its existence. But desire does not require an audience. The life you would choose without witnesses is not selfish. It is unconditioned. It is the life that reflects your nervous system, not your resume, your values, not your defenses, your truth, not your branding. From here, we notice something else. When people lived unseen, guilt softened, comparison lost its grip, time slowed. Decisions became quieter, but more precise. They stopped asking, "Is this enough?" and started asking, "Is this mine?" You feared that without external structure, you would collapse into chaos. But what if structure was never the issue? What if the noise was? Who are you when no one is clapping? When no one is disappointed? When no one is keeping track? You do not need to disappear to find this answer. You need moments without spectators, spaces where you are not performing coherence. Try this experiment from our timeline. Imagine one ordinary day when no one will ever know what you choose, not even you later. No memory, no proof. What do you eat? Where do you go? Who do you speak to? What do you refuse? Notice the relief. Notice the grief. Notice the clarity. That reaction is information. You were never meant to live entirely unseen, but you were never meant to live entirely observed either. The life you would choose if no one watched is not a fantasy. It is a compass. From this parallel place, we send you this reminder. You are allowed a private truth. You are allowed desires that never become explanations. You are allowed a life that does not perform its own worth. Listen closely. Somewhere beneath the gaze, your real preferences are still breathing.
End of transmission.